Okay, this video is going to be on creating line items inside the price list. This is the one many of you have been waiting for. The first thing we're going to need to do is figure out what section we're going to create our line items in. So let's go ahead and open up the price list, and let's make sure that we're going to spell the section right. You don't want to type in paint if the section is painting. So let's go ahead and type in painting, and then we're going to hit miscellaneous item for now. And we're going to type in paint rubber ducky. All right, now in the price list, I start off all of the line items with a capital letter, and no matter what words are next, they're all lowercase. Just trust me, it's easier to read them that way. It's just easier on the eyes to use lowercase letters, and I'll show you proof of that later. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is come up with a process. For this one, we have one. It's paint or stain. In some cases, depending on what your action is, you may not have a process that fits, replace or install or whatever. So you might want to just choose this miscellaneous item. It's not the end of the world. So go ahead and just hit paint stain on this one. The measure is each. That's correct. We have many different square foot, ton, whatever. But we're going to use each. The quantifier, 1. Material, let's just make something up. Let's call it $1.25 in paint cost and $1.10 for labor. And we're going to go ahead and apply sales tax to this, to the materials, and apply overhead and profit on our duck, and press OK. All right, so now we have our line item. Now to add it to the price list. So we're going to click on it, right-click, go down to the bottom, hit Add Miscellaneous Item to the price list. It's going to pull up the Add Edit Price List Code dialog box. So now we need to figure out what subsection we want to put inside we're inside the painting section right here, okay, inside the Craftsman price list. And by the way, later in another video, I'm going to show you how to duplicate price lists. And when you're messing with the price list like this, always better just to duplicate it and don't mess with the original price list. Anyway, so we need to figure out what subsection. So we're going to put subsection ducks. There again, inside the price list, I keep everything lowercase. That's just the way I do it. It's easier on the eyes. Subsection 2, we're going to end up having 2 line items. We're going to have paint rubber ducky and stain wooden duck. So we're going to go ahead and put a subsection for paint. And then we're going to hit update, and it's in the price list at this point. Now let's go ahead and go into the price list and go to painting, and let's find ducks, and we're going to find paint. So paint rubber ducky. Now we're going to go ahead and create another one that's going to be stain wooden duck. So instead of going back into the and following that whole process over again, we're going to make it real simple. We're going to go in here and we're going to right click on paint rubber ducky and come over here to copy this code to make a new price list entry. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and delete paint and replace it with stain, and come over here and put wooden. Okay, now obviously we don't want the stain wooden ducky in the same subcategory as our painted duck. So we're going to change that, and we're just going to type in stain. And it's going to create another subcategory right underneath paint called stain, because there isn't one. If you go into this drop-down box, the only thing in there is paint. So we're going to go ahead and put stain. Everything else is already correct. We might change the pricing. Let's change it to $1.40 and $1.25. and we're going to go ahead and press update. Now, what you'd expect to see is that our new line item would be dropped into another subcategory called stain, and it is. You just don't see it yet because the screen has to refresh. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to press this X, and you're going to click back on the painting category, and there is our stained ducky. Let's see. I need to show you guys a little bit about moving line items around inside the price list. So let's say that instead of stain wooden ducky, we wanted to just put it in a category called wooden. So we're going to move this code into a new subsection. All right. And right here we have two subsections already under ducks. We have paint and stain. So you can't choose it from the drop-down list because it doesn't exist. So we're just going to type it, wooden, and we're going to press update. Now, there is no way to delete a subcategory or a sub-subcategory. You can't do it. What you can do is remove all items out of it, and it will disappear automatically. That's the way it works. So you see right there, there is no more stain subcategory because I removed the only line item that existed in that subcategory, and so it removed itself. So now we go back into wooden, and there's our stained wooden ducky. Now let's say that we want to have painted wooden duckies and stained wooden duckies. So we're going to come over here and going to edit our line item. We're not going to copy it this time. We're not going to delete it. We're just going to edit it. And we're going to change it from paint rubber ducky to paint wooden ducky. Press update, and now we have paint wooden ducky. Now we're going to go ahead and move it under the category of wooden. Okay, so let's go back under paint. We're going to right click it, go to move this code into a new subsection, and we're going to choose wooden. Now we're going to have two codes now. We're going to have the stain wood ducky and paint wood ducky under wooden. And so what we want to do is create another subcategory, one for stain and one for paint. So we're going to come over here. There is no subcategory. You see, I pressed the drop down box. There is not one there. So we're going to hit stain and press update. Go back into ducks, go into wooden, and there's our stain. Now, or there's our paint wooden ducky. Whoops. So we're going to go back into this main one. We don't ever keep anything inside a header. Okay, you're going to want to move that out of there. You want it to always be in the end subcategory. So we're going to go ahead and move this into, whoops, stain. Press update. Now we have two line items in there. In other words, you don't want anything to reside inside here or here. You always want it to be in the end subcategory. All right. So now we got to get this out of this paint and move it into a paint category. Let's go ahead and type in paint and hit update, and now all of a sudden we have paint and stain. And that's how that works. So let's see, we're going to go ahead and right click on it. I've shown you how to copy, delete, obviously, you need to learn. Move this code from painting to another section. I'm going to cover that later. Basically, that's going to move it from the entire painting section into a whole nother section. Okay, we're going to cover that a little bit later. So let's go ahead and delete these. And you see when I deleted that, it's going to end up deleting both of these, but it's not refreshed yet. Okay, so we're going to X out of this, and let's look for ducks. Well, guess what? Ducks is gone. You know why ducks is gone? Because there are no more duck line items. So that's why. There's no way to delete these. If you look at it, All it has is rename. When you right click on any of these, it's only rename. The only way to get rid of these subcategories is to remove all the line items out of them. And another thing that I'd like you to know about is the fact that you do not want to create two line items in the same subcategory with exactly the same name. Okay, you always want to change it. So let's say you were over here in the ornamental iron section and you wanted to create another one that said prime 48-inch high ornamental iron fence. You would want to come over here to copy this, and instead of this exact one, you might want to put a, let's say, prime 48-inch high ornamental iron fence. You could put average, or you could put a hyphen right there, and that would make it different. Okay, that completely changes the line item. So even if you change the pricing, and you don't, what we're worried about is the description. Don't put two of them in there at the same description. So let's go ahead and press update. And you see now I have a copy of that item, except there's a hyphen there. And that changes the entire line item. If you make two that are exact duplicates, it's going to be bad. So don't do that. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on this line item and hit delete. And that's how that works. So that's pretty much all I have for this section, but stay tuned because we got a lot more to show you.